In this video, we're taking a look at the newest mid-torque impact wrench from ACDelco, a 3/4 inch impact wrench, and we've also got a digital torque adapter from ACDelco as well. Now, first things first, these tools were sent to me free of charge for this video, but as always, that doesn't buy the review. This will be completely fair and honest, and as usual, the links below are direct links if you want to check them out for yourself. So then, let's see what's what. And I want to start with the 1/2 inch digital torque adapter, which I think is a very useful tool for anyone dealing with cars. This particular one has got a buzzer, LED indicators, and it works from 34 all the way up to 340 newton meters. In the box, you get the adapter in a plastic carry case, so you don't smash it up while it's rolling around in your toolbox. And there it is, in a very nice bright red color. Now, unlike the Durofix torque adapter, this one only measures torque values, not angles. So you've got two torque modes: peak, which shows the highest final number reached, and track, which shows you the torque value live as you're applying it. You've also got a wide selection of units, but let's be honest, we're all sticking to newton meters here, aren't we? So, with the torque adapter set to 120 newton meters, let's test it out. This is the adapter in peak mode, and as you can see, it tracks the torque as you apply it, and once you stop, the highest value reached stays on the screen. In track mode, you see the torque value as you're tightening, but it doesn't remain on the screen afterwards. And here you can see the LEDs on the side along with the buzzer. What's actually quite interesting is that just by watching and listening to these, without even looking at the screen, you can get surprisingly close to the torque value you're aiming for. So that was the torque adapter, a simple yet very useful one. Now, let's move on to something a little more impactful. And so here we have the ACDelco 3/8 inch impact wrench, which promises to deliver up to 120 newton meters of torque. In the box, we've got the bare tool version, because I already have a bunch of G12 platform batteries from both ACDelco and Durofix. And yes, as I mentioned before, G12 batteries work on both brands, so that's convenient, isn't it? But if you want the full kit, the tool plus a basic battery and charger, you can find it for around £55 on the UK website. Now, if you're wondering why it's so cheap, here's the thing. This is a brushed motor tool. You can probably tell by the sparks in the motor, but that's not necessarily a bad thing, is it? It actually gives you excellent trigger control and fewer things that can go wrong. I do recommend using impact rated sockets since, well, it's an impact wrench. But honestly, with its low power output, regular sockets should also be fine if you're in a tough spot. That low power is exactly what makes it perfect for disassembly and engine work. It's basically a quick point-and-shoot tool with no fancy modes or excess torque to strip your fasteners. Now obviously, we're all curious about breakaway torque, so I torqued down 3 nuts to 80, 100 and 120 newton meters, which is the maximum this wrench is rated for, to see what it could actually break loose. Oh, and a quick note, I'm using a 3/8 inch to a 1/2 inch adapter here, which obviously costs the tool a bit of power. But still, let's see how it does. 80 newton meters are no problem. It also did a great job at 100 newton meters. Now let's see what it does at 120 newton meters. Not bad at all. I call this a very cheap and very cheerful impact wrench. It broke all 3 nuts loose, and it did it even with the adapter in play. Nicely done. And now let's move on to the newest member of the ACDelco family. This mid-torque impact wrench is a recent launch. It's a 1/2 inch drive tool, part of their budget-friendly A20 series. It claims to deliver up to 680 newton meters, thanks to its brushless motor. But enough talking, let's open the box up and see what's inside. Obviously, there's a manual included, but let's be honest, we'll read that later. And here's the impact wrench itself. The box also includes a 2 amp charger, a 20 volt 4 amp hour battery with a battery level indicator, and it actually does look like a Makita 18 volt battery. Though, since I don't have any Makita batteries to test, that theory will have to stay unproven for now. The tool has 3 forward modes and 2 reverse modes, one with auto stop and one without. You'll also find 3 chrome moly sockets in there, 17, 19 and 21 millimeters. So basically, you're ready to remove lug nuts straight out of the box. But let's be honest, you didn't come here for a box tour. So let's first remove these, shall we? Let's torque these nuts back to 150 newton meters and see if we can take them right off. Unfortunately, I didn't adjust the camera correctly, But luckily for us, peak mode came to a rescue and it shows the torque value anyway. Now with your lug nuts torqued to approximately 150 Newton meters, let's bring in the new impact wrench. Well, that's child's play, isn't it? Although the retaining pole on the anvil might need an upgrade, but that's an easy fix if it's ever required. Next, let's push the torque adapter to its maximum by tightening some tractor lug nuts to around 300 Newton meters, just to get a good feel for the real power this thing has. My assistant was, let's say, terrible with the camera angles yet again, so please direct your anger at him. Anyway, we've got two bolts torqued down, one even exceeding 350 Newton meters. Now, let's see how this impact wrench handles that challenge. Well, that wasn't much of a challenge, was it? And by the way, the reverse auto stop also works really well. In the end, I had to find a much bigger challenge for the new ACDelco. And I thought that challenge might come in the form of an M18 Milwaukee mid-torque impact wrench, which was set to its highest mode and it was using a fully charged 5 Ah battery. I used the Milwaukee to tighten a couple of lug nuts just so we could see if the ACDelco could break them free. With that done, I put the Milwaukee aside and brought in the new ACDelco, which at this point was already down a bar on its 4 Ah battery, but we don't need excuses, do we? We just want to see if it can remove those lug nuts. So, let's give it a go. On max power. Well, it turns out that wasn't much of a challenge, was it? So it was time for something more, well, extreme. And after asking around for a couple of days, I finally got access to an abandoned lorry that hadn't been moved in ages. And just look at the state of those lug nuts. They are really stuck, aren't they? I think this is a proper real-world test for the new ACDelco. The kind of scenario that shows what it can really do. Now, remember how I took off 300 Newton meters in a second or two? Well, this one's going to take a bit longer. After all, these nuts are really stuck. Plus, there's a ton of rust and weather damage built up over the years. So I'll just sit back, relax, and watch what happens next. For the size of the tool and the price of the kit, I have to say that this is very impressive. It's already taken off 3 M22 nuts that were seriously rusted up, but this one looks like it's in the worst condition of the lot. So let's give that a go, shall we? Well, that retaining clip on the anvil really does not want to hold onto the socket, so I may have to do something about that. And now can you see all that rust and dust flying off? I think that alone is enough to show you what this tool is actually having to deal with here. Now that's really not bad at all, is it? Again, just remember the size of this thing and the price. However, you do have to be aware of its limitations. Once I moved on to the front wheels, which had equally rusted up lug nuts, the battery was already down a couple of bars. Now, I did manage to remove one of them, but another one definitely beat the tool. Now, I don't know if that was because the battery wasn't fresh off the charger, or if that nut was just on there a bit too tight. But it's important to remember that every tool has its limits. Still, as I've been saying throughout, for the size of this thing and the price of the kit, this is genuinely impressive. You can tell it's built to a budget. For example, there are only 2 battery terminals, and some of the components look like fairly standard off-the-shelf parts. But the important thing is that, in this case, it all comes together really well. So, as always, let me know what you think in the comments below, and if you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a like and consider subscribing to the channel.